Hello everyone, welcome to this session where we're going to be learning about JavaScript. My name is Anonymous. I am an assistant professor at a university. So before we start, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future sessions. And if you find the content helpful, do share it with your friends. In this particular session, we're going to learn about what JavaScript is. Why do we need it? How to set up our environment to start writing JavaScript, and then also write a simple program in JavaScript. So without any further delay, let's get started. All modern browsers support JavaScript like Google, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Microsoft Edge. So if you open any one of these browsers, open the developer console, and you can start writing JavaScript code right away. However, for larger projects, it is better to use an IDE or an editor with a bunch of tools and extensions that help us write our code in a better way. And let's start writing the code. First of all, we'll declare variables to store the two numbers. And since we're going to be reading the numbers from the user, we'll use the regex 10, which means that it will read the numbers as base 10 numbers. Now we have our two numbers, and now we need to add them. So we'll declare a variable num3, which is going to store the sum. Also, some features of JavaScript are supported only in certain browsers, but there is something called as Babel that transpiles the code so that it can be run on all browsers. So first of all, what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a programming language that is used to make websites more interactive and dynamic. And then we also wrote a few programs in JavaScript. If you have any doubts, queries, or questions, please ask me in the comment section below. I'll make sure to reply to all your comments. And if you found the content helpful, do hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, because there's a lot more content coming up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next session. So let's try to write a program that says, "Hello world." Open your console and write console.log. Now here you can see that we getting all these nice suggestions, and we can press tab to select the one that we want. We'll select the first option that says console. Log in. Now we can write a string. Now the syntax might look a little funny to you because in most languages we use either print or system out print on to print the output. But here it's console log. There's no print statement. The closest thing that we have is console log. Anyway, once you're redone writing the code, you can press enter, and boom, you have printed hello world on your console. Now there was nothing special about this program. We could have written the same thing without console.log. We could have simply written return hello world, and then we would have had the same result. This is valid JavaScript too, but console.log is just a convention that everyone follows, and I recommend you follow it too. It's a high-level, dynamic, loosely typed, interpreted programming language. So let's go back to our console and clear everything. Now we're going to use a readline method that is available on the console object to read the input from the user. And once we have the name of the user, we're going to print a message saying hello plus the name of the user. So let's start writing the code. First of all, we'll declare a variable to store the name of the user, and we'll use the let keyword for that. And then we'll write console readline. And here you can see that we're getting all these options. I'll select the first option that says console. Redline, and it reads a line from the standard input and returns that as a string. Now we have the name of the user. And now we're going to print a message saying hello world. And to concatenate the two strings, we can use the plus operator. So here we're going to print hello plus the name of the user. So this is the code, and now we can press enter. And now it's asking us for the name of the user. So let's type in my name and press enter, and boom, we have the output. So this is a simple example, but the same concept applies to a lot of other things too. So when I say it's high level, I mean developers, do you want to have to worry about the processor or memory management? Because JavaScript takes care of all of those things. Next, it is a dynamic language, which means that you don't have to explicitly declare the type of a variable. For example, In Java, if I write an x equals 10, here I've declared that x is an int, but in JavaScript, I can just write let x equals 10, and it will figure out that x is an integer. Next, it is a loosely typed language, which means that you can mix and match different data types within a single program. In Java, you cannot do that. You have to be very explicit about the type of a variable, and also the types have to be compatible. But here, they can be mixed and matched very good. Finally, it's an interpreted language, which means that it's not compiled into machine code. Rather, there's a runtime environment that executes the JavaScript code line by line. Now, why do we need JavaScript? As mentioned earlier, JavaScript makes websites more interactive and dynamic. Suppose you have an e-commerce website. Now, if it's a simple static website, all the pages would be loaded completely. Even if you just want to buy a single item, that's not a good user experience because you have to wait for all the pages to load. What JavaScript does is that it only loads the necessary parts of the page rather than loading the entire page, and making it more interactive and hence giving the user a better user experience. Coming to how to set up our environment. Well, it's really simple. Now let's come to the most important part, and that is writing our first JavaScript program. Moving on. Let's try to write a program that asks the user for his name and then greets him. Coming to our next example. Let's write a program that adds to numbers. So let's again open our console and clear it. Moving on. Let's write a program that calculates the area of a triangle. Now, to calculate the area of a triangle, we'll need so let's first of all declare variables for the and we'll use the class vertex 3D to represent the 3D coordinates of a So for each vertex, we'll declare x, y, and z coordinate. Once we have the coordinates, we'll use the formula 0.5 base height to calculate the area of the triangle. So we'll declare a variable area, and we'll assign 0.5 base height to it. And finally, we'll print the value of the area. So this is our code, and now we can press enter. And now it's asking us to enter the coordinates of the So let's enter the coordinates and press enter. And boom! We have the area of the triangle. That's it for today's session. We learned about JavaScript. Why do we need it? How to set up our environment.